that feeling of being absolutely buried.
Yeah.
Right? Just completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, like you're carrying just mountains of pressure.
Exactly. There's even that saying, pressure, mountain big. And honestly, if that sounds familiar to you, well, you're definitely not alone.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what we want to dive into today. We've been looking at some really interesting ideas, and one framework that kept popping up is this 3-R.
Release, reconcile, and reframe.
Precisely. Think of it as a kind of a mental toolkit, something practical to help manage that pressure and maybe find a bit more inner calm, a bit more control.
Yeah, find your feet again. So our goal today is pretty straightforward. Let's unpack this 3-R, figure out what each step really involves, and how you can actually start using these ideas when things feel, well, intense.
Let's do it. So the first R is release.
Okay, release.
And the core idea here, it sounds simple, but it's crucial. Find healthy outlets for those pent-up feelings. Don't just keep it all inside, but holding it in, it just doesn't work long term.
Right. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater, isn't it? It's going to pop up eventually.
Exactly. And maybe not when or how you want it to.
So how do we release? The source mentioned a few ways.
Yeah, 3 main ones. First, just writing it down. There's this example of Julian dealing with really difficult clients.
Now, we've all been there.
Right. So instead of losing it, he'd step away and just furiously type out his frustration into his phone notes.
Okay, so not solving the client problem directly, but letting off steam.
Exactly. And there's something therapeutic about that act of writing,
Yeah.
Getting it out of your head and onto the page or screen. It externalizes it. Even if the situation hasn't changed, he's processed some of that immediate emotional heat.
Takes the edge off. Okay, what's the second method?
Moving the body. Physical activity.
Right. I think a lot of people do this instinctively. Like, you've worked super late, you're totally wired and irritable, and going for a run or hitting the gym just helps. The source called it an emotional erasure. I like that.
It's a great phrase. Because physically, exercise releases endorphins, which boost your mood. But it's also just a great way to channel that pent-up, agitated energy, burn it off.
Like hitting reset.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And the third way to release.
Talking it out. Simple, but powerful.
So sharing the load.
Yeah. The example was feeling really uncertain about her career, and she ends up having this late-night chat with a good friend.
And just talking helped.
It did. Partly because she don't feel so alone with her worries anymore, but also actually saying the thoughts out loud sometimes makes them seem less huge, less daunting.
Right. You hear yourself say it and think, okay, maybe it's not that bad. Or you gain some clarity.
Exactly. And a friend can offer a different perspective or just listen. Validation helps too.
Okay. So that's release, writing, moving, talking, getting the pressure out. What's next? Reconcile.
Reconcile, yes. The second R, and this one is maybe a bit more internal. It's about engaging with the source of the stress.
How so?
Well, the key insight here is recognizing that, honestly, a lot of what stresses us out is stuff we just can't control.
Like your boss's mood or the traffic.
Exactly. Or the economy or what other people think. We spend so much energy getting frustrated by these things.
So reconcile means just giving up,
Yeah.
accepting defeat.
No, not quite giving up. It's more about acceptance. Accepting what is and what isn't within your power to change. Recognizing those boundaries.
Okay. Acceptance, not resignation. How do we do that?
2 main strategies came up. First, being gentle with yourself.
Self-compassion.
Yes. Because when we're stressed, it's so easy to beat ourselves up, right? Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or I should be handling this better.
Yeah, adding stress on top of stress.
Exactly. But feeling pressured is normal. Doesn't mean you're failing. The example was his proposal got rejected.
Ouch.
Yeah. But instead of immediately criticizing himself, he allowed himself to feel that disappointment, acknowledging he'd done his best. That's being gentle.
Giving yourself permission to feel it instead of fighting it.
I like that. What's the second strategy for Reconcile?
This one's really practical. It's about actively distinguishing between what you can control and what you can't.
Okay.
The source suggests this circle exercise. You literally draw a circle. Inside, you write down things you have direct influence over.
Like, my study plan, how I react to an email, what I eat for lunch.
Perfect. Your choices, your actions, your responses. Then, outside the circle, you list the uncontrollables.
Other people's opinions, the weather, stock market going crazy.
Right. And the point of this visual It shows you where to focus your energy, put your effort into the inner circle, the things you can actually change.
And the outer circle.
You work on accepting it, like the traffic jam example. Getting furious doesn't move the cars.
Right. But you can control whether you listen to music or plan your day or just breathe.
Exactly. You focus on your response within that uncontrollable situation. That's reconciliation in action. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Focus on your circle. So we've released, we've reconciled.
Yeah.
The third R is reframe.
Reframe, yes. And this is all about perspective.
Shifting how you see things.
Precisely. The idea is that situations themselves are often neutral. It's our interpretation, our story about them that makes them feel negative or stressful. Reframe is learning to consciously choose a different story, a different lens.
Okay, how do we actively do that? What are the approaches?
3 main ones were highlighted. First, view a challenge as an opportunity.
Oh, the classic obstacles the way idea.
Kind of, yeah. The example was Agree's team hitting a big technical problem. Instead of despair, he framed it as, okay, this is tough, but it's a chance for us to really learn something new to get stronger.
And that actually boosted morale.
Apparently so. It shifts the mindset from, oh no, a barrier to, okay, a puzzle to solve, a skill to gain. It's about fostering that growth mindset, seeing it as a chance to develop resilience.
Makes a potentially draining situation feel more engaging, maybe. Okay, second reframing technique.
Focus on solutions, not blame.
Getting out of the why me trap.
Exactly that. Shifting from dwelling on the problem or whose fault it is to actively asking, okay, what can I do about this? What steps can move things forward?
It feels more proactive. Less like being a victim of the situation.
It is. Blame keeps you stuck. Focusing on solutions empowers you to act. It directs your energy constructively, much less stressful in the long run.
Right. And the third way to reframe.
Finding the silver lining.
Looking for the good, even in the bad.
It's not about pretending the negative doesn't exist, but actively searching for any positive aspect or potential learning, even in a setback. A failure, for instance, while disappointing,
Can show you where you need to improve.
Exactly. It reveals weaknesses, offers valuable data for next time. It's about training your brain to look for those upsides, however small they might seem. It can really change your overall emotional experience of difficulties.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the whole thing. The 3 chandeliers, it's a sequence.
Right. First, release that built-up emotional energy. Find an outlet.
Writing, moving, talking. Then reconcile. Accept what you can't change. Be kind to yourself.
And focus your energy squarely on what you can control. Use that circle idea.
And finally, reframe. Actively shift your perspective. See challenges as opportunities. Focus on solutions.
And look for those silver linings.
It feels like a really practical cycle.
It is. And look, it's important to say this isn't like a magic wand. It won't make problems vanish instantly.
Of course.
But it is a powerful way to manage your own emotional state, your energy, when you're facing those inevitable tough times. It gives you tools to respond more consciously.
Yeah, it's about taking back a bit of control in how you react, even when the situation itself feels out of control. Tapping into that inner strength we all have.
Absolutely. So maybe something for you to think about. Consider a recent situation that felt really stressful, really harassed. How might applying one of these R's, just one, maybe release or perhaps reconcile or even reframe, how might that have changed how you felt or what you did? Just reflecting on that could be quite insightful.